Welcome back to the film room. Today, let's talk about Aday, the lottery pick from Oklahoma City Thunders. He had 14.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 0 stocks, which is pretty, surprising number for Mara. 3 turnovers. I thought he really struggled on defense this game. Trevor Brazil had 32 points, hit 6 threes, basically killed Mara from the 3-point line with those pick and pop shots. Offensively, I think Mara did a fairly good job. He showed his passing vision and also his playmaking skills, as well as his improving chemistry with Bennett Sturts. So, kind of like a mixed game for Mara. The first play here, we are defending. Right, this is one of the rare possessions that you can feel his rim presence in this game. So what are we doing? So first of all, I think the first thing to mention about this OKC squad is that everybody here, except for Mara, are not good defenders. Maybe Barnheiser is a solid disruptor, but the defensive level, the infrastructure is way worse than his teammates in Michigan, where he had Moret Johnson, where he had Yaxo. Right, so not a great defensive squad. You can see the first line of defense get beat pretty quickly. So these two players are basically behind. Right, so leaves Mara on an island here. Maybe I would wish Mara can step out a little bit here, but still he is a rim presence, even if he's standing, basically straight down the basket. Because of his long wingspan, he has a 9-9 standing reach. Right, so Marks here kind of has to take this short floater there, which is a makeable shot, right? This is why I think Mara can step out a little bit more. But he's also worried about this player, so makes sense that he's below the rim there. But did a great job of not letting Sears make that layup. Sears did not dare to get all the way to the rim. So this is a decent defensive possession. This is what Aday Mara can bring to your team. So this one, not great, not ideal rebounding possession here. His hands are a little bit problematic coming to the draft, right? So you can see we would love you if you can catch this ball, or if you can gain some sort of control, right? So, but luckily Sturts got the ball, but you can see the rebounding is a real issue here in this game. So here, we're backing down a defender. The one thing about Mara is that when he's backing down, his eyes are always watching on the weak side. So he's watching what the other 4 Thunder players are going to run there. So what are some sort of weak side actions, right, going on? And at this moment, even if it's dribbling for 5 seconds, 6 seconds, he's still looking at a weak side. He's still looking at a cutter, but decided not to go for the cutter. Maybe because the passing angle is not great, or he decided that he will just shoot this one, right? So a great spin, a great backspin here to his right hand. Not an easy jump hook shot because he's pretty far away from the rim, right? So he is not able to kind of back down his man there. Not able to back down into this area, into the paint. So he is kind of, blocked out. He kind of spin further from the rim, which is not great, but he has that touch. He has that floater touch. He has that hook shot touch. So here, again, we're rebounding. Again, you can see not ideal rebounder there. Just we should be able to catch this one. Maybe we jumped a little earlier, right? So you can see. So you try to jump here. Didn't get a lot of lift. Not a lot of vertical lift there. And also his hands are, didn't manage to catch that one again. So you can see the ball is kind of hitting his hand, but didn't manage to catch that one. Partly because he didn't establish a great position, right? So he is, he's trying to box out his man here, but his man is way stronger than him. So he is, kind of, this man kind of come from behind and get the ball. Not a great rebounder possession from Mara. You gotta catch those rebounds if you're a 7'3" big man. And part of the at Michigan, his rebounding number are also not great, especially his defensive rebounding number. But because they're Yaxo, because they're Moretz, so you can say that they split their defensive rebounder duties, right? So, but here, this Thunder team, he's the only big man, right? So he should be able to grab like more than 10 rebounds. But because of his frame, it's way too skinny on in the post right now. So struggle on cleaning glass a little bit in this game. So we're here, we're dropping, right? So one way to attack Daimara is if you have this mid-range jumper, because Mara is always going to play drop defense. But this is an okay shot if you to invite some players to shoot, because this is a low efficiency shot, right? This is a mid-range jumper. We can invite those shots. But the thing that you cannot allow is when you're playing drop, you gotta box out this player, right? You gotta box out this player. We can't be staring at the ball and not putting a body on their interior player, which allows them to catch the rebound and put back. Here, just a little two-man game with Bennett Sturz. I really like his chemistry with Bennett Sturz in this game. So I think if Mara can play in the regular season, I think they should play together because of Sturz' great ability to move on and off, to play on and off ball, especially off ball, so he can really move into space and use his gravity as a shooter, right? So Sturz can find some space and move into space. Mara can definitely find Sturz because of his great passing vision and playmaking accuracy. So here between the legs to set like a screen DHO sort of stuff so that he can run to the basket. Right, but we are catching a little bit early here. So we're catching early. We're doing this little floater here. So again, great touch by Daimara. This one I don't like because can you see a little swipe there? So as this player is here, Mara is here protecting the rim, which is great. But can you see his hand here? He's trying to swipe at the ball, which is not ideal, right? So you are a 7'3" center here standing at the at the rim. You should be able to vertically contest this shot rather than swiping at the ball. But there's a great chance that you're ends up swiping at the hand of the player because it's hard to swipe totally at the ball. It's hard for a clean swipe. So the ref called a foul there. Let's watch again. And so watch his arms trying to swipe for the ball. Not great. So here they are attacking him with this pick and pop. Tron Brazil is one of the best, it's one of the better pick and pop threats in the second round for a big man, right? He is a capable shooter. He's not a great shooter. He's a capable shooter. So I think this is one of the ways that you can attack Daimara, and this is why I think the Wemby stopper thing never makes sense for me, because Wemby can do more things than Tron Brazil. But one thing he can do is shoot from outside, so they can just spam pick and roll, pick and pop stuff to attack Daimara. And also, for Wemby, you need to build out a 5-out roster, not having someone like a Daimara who can shoot, right? So not a Wemby stopper. I don't know where that come from. But here, what's the correct way to guard this pick and pop? I think if this is a playoff, maybe they won't put Mara on Trevor Brazil. But if they want, maybe they just leave this one open, right? Brazil makes six shots. It's okay. It's like Spurs, leaving Alex Caruso open. Or you want to defend this, you should have Sturz here, Mara here. So we need to offer some sort of nail help here so that Mara can stay at the corner to keep Mara away from these pick and pop actions, right? So he rotate to the corner, Sturz take the first pick and pop away so that Mara can have the time to kind of directly rotate to the corner. And when he is rotating here, he's also protecting the rim. So he's also the low man. But if he's contesting at the perimeter, it makes him less of a rim presence, right? So this is why you will see a lot of teams, especially Wemby, right? So here's who I'm thinking here. So the Spurs will let Wemby stay at the corner no matter who is at the corner. Even if it's Cason Wallace, he is still staying at the corner. He's roaming at the corner. They're not letting him guarding out here on the perimeter. So, but obviously Mara is not fast enough for this pick and pop to recover that amount of space, right? So Brazil just comfortably make that one. And here, this is a hard situation. Again, you can see the recovery speed is not ideal. Right, so not ideal recovery speed. Again, so he needs to cover a lot of ground. I don't think anybody can recover that distance, probably except for Wemby. So it's really tough matchup for Daimara. Here, I think they're switching, right? So we had enough of those pick and pop stuff. So we are just switching this, which is also a way to attack pick and pop. But you put Mara in a vulnerable spot against your guard, right? So against their guards. And this guard just did a pretty shifty move there. So, right, he catches this crossover. We are using our hesitation dribble, right? So we are looking as if we are going directly downhill, which makes Mara open his hips immediately. So exposing this top foot, because Mara exposes this top foot, decided to cross over and go directly this way to attack this top foot. So Mara just, top foot still here. He is behind and didn't manage to block this shot, right? So tough switching possession from Mara here. This pass is a little bit high. We're catching it back again. Yeah, so here a great dish to the cutter there. I was trying to find some sort of manipulation, right? Because what's the point of a manipulation here? Because this defender is responsible for these two players. So we are trying to get this player to commit to either one of them, and we pass the ball to the other player, right? So I think here he's looking directly at this defender here, but maybe his eyes are looking here. I don't know. Right. I don't know exactly where he's looking, but you can see this defender is kind of making the rotation here. And so he is kind of moving this way and he is cutting. So he's kind of looking here. So he is making a no look pass to the cutter here. Great manipulation here. Great pass. So here, this is the correct way to guard this pick and pop. Right. So we are communicating early. This is a pick and pop. You can see Mara's hands, immediately pointing out at, I think it's Buddy Boheim, to come over and, stop this shot, right? So he is offering help, and Mara is rotating to the corner here, right? So it's a shorter pass here from here to here, and also, right. So this is a great contest, and also if Brazil shoots this one, Mara can be here, so he can kind of protect the rebounds. This is the most this is the most fun pass I've seen in the summer league. So what's happening here? Mara catches. This player is trying to go this way, but he decided to reject because he feels this player is doing a hard job fighting over and kind of overplaying. So we are going backwards here. He did a great job. Mara is also kind of setting a screen here with his big body. So Mara kind of feels this player is open. But how to pass the ball, right? One way is probably you just pass it overhead, right? Another way is we use this bounce pass here. Right? Great wraparound bounce pass. I think he is using his wrist here. First of all, his long arms definitely help, right? So he is able to pass over the body of Tron Brazil, but also his, you know, wrist here, flexible wrists. Pass the ball to directly to the cutter here, pinpoint pass, draw a foul there. It's a great pass, great ability to, great imagination there, great creativity. So here, I want to show you the lack of physicality for Daimara. So he's trying to set a screen here, this player to come over. But Bryce Hopkins is much more stronger than Daimara, so you can see bump Mara backward, which makes this screen pretty much ineffective, right? So you kind of blow up the action there. Just need to be more physical to set better screens. Here we are guarding this non-shooter, right? But I think the ref called a foul there. So you can see the strength disadvantage there, right? So you can see Mara kind of get bumped backwards, so his feet are here. But after the bump, right, it's here. From here to here, pretty significant bump there. And then second bump. So this player is all the way in the rim there. And Mara, you can see his hands are not vertical. His hands are a little bit, reaching in, which makes this player, very hard, very easy to kind of draw a foul. Because when he reaches up, when he rises up, Mara's hands are this way, right, not vertical. So the ref called a foul there. Here, this is one of the actions that the Thunders run a lot in this game. This is a flare action, flare cut. What does it mean? 3 players on this side. This player is handling the ball. He is coming up to set a screen for the shooter to come to the corner to shoot this one. Right, so this is a screen, flare out to the corner. But because I think you can see this player is kind of communicating for a switch here. So in a switch situation, the best thing is for the screener to cut here. Right, so they are kind of switching this, and the screener kind of realizes their strategy here. Did a great job of, cutting there. Did a great job of rejecting and cutting. Fumbled a little bit on the catch, but in the end made that one. So I believe this is a play that the Thunders run in their little practice for the summer league. So here we're just not quick enough to kind of recover back for this help block, right? So maybe Mara would be ideally be here. We want him to be deeper in the paint. And also number 17 is not a shooter, so we can probably stay deeper in the paint, just not fast enough to recover. Here again, so you can see his ability to pass over people and also, word cutters, right? So here, screen here, him to come over, but he feels this player is overplaying here. Right? He is trying to play this way. We're cutting here. Great cut, great find. Right, so here he just kind of hesitates a little bit and fumbles. He is trying to figure out who these 2 players are, what these 2 players are doing. Just lost control of the ball. I mean, I think this is a solid one-on-one defensive possession here. Did a great job of staying in front, basically, but there's some sort of separation here. Did a great job of using. Yeah, so this one. So did a great job of trying to contest the shot. Just the player just made that one, so nothing to complain. I think they just made some hard shots. Here, again, a 2-man game with Bennett Sturts. They have really good chemistry there. So a screen here, a solid screen here. Actually, take out Stevenson here from the play, and because from Brazil is pretty high, because Sturts is such a lethal pull-up shooter, right? So Mara has all the space to roll into and to get behind from Brazil. So this is why their pick and roll are so hard to guard, because Sturts is such a lethal pull-up shooter, so he kind of has to put two on the ball, or you have to kind of hedge him because you don't want to shoot him to shoot that pull-up three. But as you're hedging him, Mara is able to roll and slip the screen, roll inside pretty quickly. So here, catch the ball a little bit high, but he's able to dribble the ball and then go for the dunk. From Brazil fouled him. So here we're going to see the free throws. Right, he has not been a good free throw shooter at Michigan. He shot 56% Michigan. So in summer league in this game, he was 1 for 5. So he missed four free throws, which are worth probably 8 points. Right, so he make all those free throws, he's over 20 points. The narrative would be much different, right? So they probably win this game. Um, so here the issue about the free throw, I think I'm not a big shooting expert. I think it's the lower half. His lower half are not always on balance. You can see his. I just feel like there's some irregular movements there on the lower half of his body. So we got another clip in this game. So here, this one. Again, watch the lower half. Right, so you can see he's trying to, step out. Sorry. His right feet are stepping out because he kind of lost balance there. Right, so the lower half balance is a bit inconsistent for me. And I think that's why his free throws are not great. So here, again, this is the similar concept, right? So we are in transition. Some people say this is Mara's fault. I don't think so. I actually think it's this player's fault. I think he should come over and take turn Brazil. We are in transition, right? So they two are arguing. So you can see Mara's pointing at this player for him to come over and take turn Brazil, but he doesn't understand what Mara means, I think. Right, so he's pointing at Mara to take this one. Why do I think I like that player to take? I think it's Barnheiser, because again the same idea here. We want Mara to be closer to the rim. We want Mara to be at the corner here so we can be the low man in any sort of ball screens, right? But if we are here, if we're closing out on this one, it's a long closeout. It's pretty hard for Mara. Brazil can just beat a straight line. He can just pump fake and Mara will be in the air and he will just dunk the ball, right? So I would rather have Barnheiser, who's much quicker and who is, a better perimeter defender probably than Mara, to come out to the perimeter and Mara take the corner so that he can stay at the rim. Here, miscommunication there. So this one, I just don't get why Mara is trying to close out that hard on this player. This is probably the scouting part of summer league, right? So you don't get to know your opponent, who your opponents are. He is not even a shooter, and I don't know why you're closing out this far, right? Especially this last step. So completely lost control there. Get blown by. Opponent ends up making that shot. Here, again, we're running that flare cut stuff, right? So what are we doing here? Again, a flare cut. Screen here from starts to come to the baseline, but he did a great job of cutting here. Again, Denver's, Brazil is pointing at the switch here, right? So as soon as they're pointing at the switch, Barnheiser is smart enough to cut to the basket, right? Great tactic there. Great pass by Daimara. So here this is not on Mara. No, this is just poor, first line of defense, right? Just poor perimeter defense, get beat there by Brazil. And Mara is not just fail to get the ball there. I don't think this is Mara's fault, but Mara just doesn't look super athletic to me in this game in the summer league. I think he looked a little bit better conditioning wise. Michigan, I think at Michigan he moves better. He's more athletic. He looks more athletic at Michigan. I feel like. So here, grabbing the rebound, great, and we are attempting this ambitious bounce pass here. So not a lot of people are brave enough to make that pass, right? This is not a great decision making, I would say, but it's summer league. I don't mind that one. It's just summer league, so we are trying to experiment things. Actually, it's a great pass. It's just a little bit behind, right? Maybe if you can pass it a little faster, I think this should be a one of the best assists that we will ever see in summer league. But not a big deal in summer league. Here, right, we are before we're catching, we're already seeing where our teammates are, right? So he kind of has looking at where his cutting teammates are. So did a great job of passing that one. Pretty hidden pass, right? So nobody can guess where he's passing to. Right. Great hidden pass over these two players who are catching the ball, who are running for the ball. Right. Great pass there. So Mara is a genuine passer, genuine special passer. Here, I mean, so one thing about Mara's closeout, like his closeout techniques are not great. His feet are pretty heavy. You can see he's moving his feet in a pretty, you know, pretty random way. I would say pretty, not a very disciplined way. Better way to say it. Not very disciplined, right? His feet is kind of swinging in the air a little bit, and here he is not basically not ready to defend, and he exposes his top foot a lot. So just a straight up blow by there. Mara did a decent job of recovering, kind of. I think this is a contested layup, so his hands are here. This is a solid contest, I think, for Mara. He just made a tough shot there. But Mara's closeouts are not great. So here, maybe you can say this is on Mara, but I think it's unrealistic for you to ask Mara to keep up with from Brazil, who is 3 inches shorter than Mara. So, right. So here, we're just getting outrun by Tron Brazil. I mean, Lamar Wilkerson should definitely take Tron Brazil here. I don't know where he's looking at. Mara's actually pointing here. Right. So, again, Lamar Wilkerson, I think, not a great defender, fell asleep on this possession. So here we're in the fourth quarter. He played much better in the fourth quarter than I thought. So here we're spamming the Sturz and Mara pick and roll here. Right, great ball screen. Again, this is going to be hard to guard because of Stur's ability to pull up. So from Brazil, feel like he kind of has to step up a little bit to deter that shot. But Mara, the special thing about Mara is that he is very fast for a 7'3" guy. So he kind of gets behind from Brazil, which makes the alley-oop lob pass available there. Right, great pass, great dunk there. Once again, we are running this. Right, so if you give Mara a ton of space to roll into, not going to end up well. Dunk. So here we are just missing our box outs, right? Brazil did a great job of cutting. Right? I thought Brazil looked more active than was playing at Arkansas. So Mara just fell asleep, just staring at the ball the whole time, right? Staring at the ball. You watch his eyes there, staring at the ball, staring. Kind of turned his head a little bit once in a while to find where Tron Brazil is, right? You can see the little turn of head there. He's turning kind of the seat where Tron Brazil is, but when he realizes, way too late. Brazil is under the basket, and his super athletic can catch that one in the air. So we are guarding a non-shooter. This is another, one of the few examples that you can see Mara's rim presence really making a difference. Right, so we are guarding a non-shooter number 34, and we are staying in the paint deep down. So high hand, I like it. I like how he deterred the shot at the rim. So what you will do as a defender is just, deflect his passing lane, right? Passing back to the other offensive player. Did a great job, number 31, to disrupt this pass. right? Did a great job, and he kind of has to take this fadeaway shot because he also doesn't dare to go up against a Daimar at the rim. So here, again, another missed free throw. Catches that one. Pass to the rim, great. Yeah, this is one of the few times that we see in this game that Mara kind of imposes his will on the glass. He is just taller, and he is able to kind of get into this space, which is pretty rare to see in this game. He's just not strong enough. So imagine if he's strong enough, if he's much stronger than now, he's probably able to do that more often. That's when Daimar is unstoppable, like Zach Edey on offense, especially on the glass. So here, I mean, I kind of like the defense there, right? So he is contesting this drive. Benacer just got beat totally, and so we are contesting this drive. This player did a great job of passing to the cutter there, right? Did a great job turning his hips. You can see how he turned his hips, change direction pretty quickly, and get to this vertical contest as soon as possible, right? But this player just has a little bit vertical pop. He can just kind of rise over the top and dunk that one. So here, again, two-man game with Bennett third. So I like this, frequent dribble handoff there. So we are using a lot of hands off. Handoff here. Sturz kind of reject the screen and pass this one back to Mara. And another dribble handoff there. Handoff, screen. We're rolling here. Open lane for Daimara to roll into. Good things will happen for your team on offense, right? If Mara is running with a clear straight line. So here, catches that one. No other option but to foul him. Right? When he catches that high, you can only foul him. His catch point is pretty high. There's nobody can get it to this point. Here we're rebounding. We are throwing our outlet pass, right? This is one of the signature skills of Daimara. This is a great pass. Leads with 2 and 1. They call this one a 2 because the feet step on the line there. But defensive rebound. So this is again why defensive rebounds are so important for Daimara, because when he catches the defensive rebound, means transition points, right? Because he's such a good outlet passer. Great pass directly to the pocket of the shooter. The camera did not manage to catch how the ball traveled. But here you can see it's already in the shooting pocket. He's already, in shooting prep. So indicates this is a pretty good pass. This is a pretty accurate pass. Special pass there. Special passer, Daimara. So final play here. We are switched on to Mark Sears. I won't say I like this possession because I think his body control are pretty messy on closeouts again. So you can see his guarding. So Sears kind of creates some sort of separation there with his hesitations. Right, Sears is a 6-foot guard, I think. So Mara kind of has to close out a bit hard. But I just don't like his body control. So you can see he almost knocked over Mark Sears. So there's some sort of contact there. But the refs can call it. Maybe didn't call that one. Because it's not enough contact. But you can see Daimara will struggle when he's guarding out in perimeter, when he's switching onto players. But at Michigan, they kind of protect him well because they have a bunch of great perimeter defenders in Yaxel and Murad, so he can just stay in the paint, and they can kind of figure it out on the perimeter because of the ability to cover grounds for Murad and Yaxel, so which makes Mara's job easier. So, but in this setting, Mara's some of his weaknesses kind of gets exposed, right? And I also think the conditioning overall is not great for Mara. But he's a real passer. Showed his touch on the offensive end. I think he just needs to get a bit stronger as a rebounder. Right. So a lot of things to grow for Mara. I'm not sure he will contribute right away. Not sure what Thunder think about Thomas Sorber. Right. But the Thunders have a lot of depth and can afford for him time for him to grow. So thank you for watching this film room. See you next time.